Hello everyone, my name is Hemu and I'm welcoming you all in this particular demo. And guys, just confirm on the chat I'm audible properly. Any echo at my end? Things are good. Type yes if everything is okay. Okay, then let's start your demo. So guys, before starting the demo, let me just give you some detail. So we are starting one batch on Palo Alto Firewall and your F5 LTM. This is a combo batch and fees for this particular batch is 12,000. First, we will basically cover your Palo Alto. Once your Palo Alto will complete, we will start your F5 LTM. Palo Alto will take around 8 weekends and your F5 LTM will take around 6 weekends. And these classes we will start from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. IST. So it's a morning batch. Okay. Now, let me go through like this is my YouTube channel where you will get lots of videos on Palo Alto, on Panorama, on Palo Alto troubleshooting, SD-WAN, F5. There's a hell lot of videos are there in this particular channel, right? So you can visit this particular channel and you can basically check out how we used to deliver the trainings, right? If you will go in this home section, you can able to see couple of videos on Panorama, on Palo Alto Advanced Tech Troubleshooting, and Cisco SD-WAN, right? All these videos are available here. Apart from this particular YouTube channel, we do have a one more YouTube channel, which is Skilled Inspirational Academy. Here in this particular channel, you will get the videos with regards to F5 LTM, GTM, ASM, FortiGate, Python, all of them. This is our website, Sianets.com. We do have a video portal. This is our video portal where we have a lots of courses, and here you can able to find our video based courses if you want to enroll for them. Okay, here we have a videos on Palo Alto, on F5 LTM, GTM, ASM, AWS security, Python for network automation, SD-WAN, FortiGate, Checkpoint, all these type of videos available here. Okay, now let me just start with your demo, guys. So let me just mention what are the things I'm going to cover, or what all things will be covered in this particular training. So this particular Palo Alto training is around 36 plus hours. This training will go around more than 36 plus hours, where we will do around 80% practicals and there is a 20% of theoretical things. We will also help you with the interview supports. You will get a lifetime interview support. We will also help you with the lab workbook. You will also get the lifetime access of your recorded videos. So let's suppose if you have missed couple of classes, you can able to basically watch from these recorded videos, and these videos are available for forever. We will also help you with the lab setup in your local laptop. And if your laptop is not have a sufficient RAM and CPU, then we will help you building the similar type of lab on Google Cloud. Because in this Google Cloud, you can able to build the lab in free. You just need to spend 2 INR. That's it. And I'm going to cover all these things in my sessions. As I have mentioned, it's a weekends classes. During the sessions, guys, you can also able to discuss any type of issues which you are facing in your production environment. And we will also offer the mock interview support for every student. Let's suppose you have an interview in the organization. What you need to do, you have to call us or inform us around 3-4 days before. What we will do, we will take that interview with you, or we will take your mock interview during that time, and we will guide you what are the things which you need to focus. So these are the things which we will cover in this particular training. Now, without wasting time, let me just go through with the Palo Alto Firewall course content. What are the things I am going to cover in this particular training? So let me just start with the course content. So guys, I will start your sessions. I will start your training with the Palo Alto Firewall platforms and architecture. And if you will see in this Palo Alto platforms, we are going to discuss what type of devices Palo Alto offers, like what are the hardware series offered by the Palo Alto Firewall, what are the VM based series or virtual series offered by the firewall. What is the CN series devices? Now they have recently launched a new series which is a cloud native firewall. So I will cover all these things in detail. Once I will complete that part, I'll move towards the architecture, and you have heard the term called SP3 architecture, or you have heard the name like single pass architecture, right? This particular SP3 concept I will cover in depth. Even though guys in your today's demo also I will just cover some part of SP3. So you will basically get the some idea of SP3. Once this SP3 will complete, I'll go towards the flow logic or life of a packet in your PAN-OS or life of a packet in Palo Alto Firewall. And guys, I'm telling you, in every type of interview of Palo Alto, you are going to face these two questions, flow logic, and they will ask what is the architecture or what is SP3 architecture of Palo Alto. Once I will complete these two topics, I move towards the initial configuration. How we can take the initial access of your Palo Alto device. Means here I will guide you. Let's suppose you have received a first box, a new box of Palo Alto. Now, how you can basically start managing, how you will access, like what is console port, what is management port, like all these things I'm going to cover. What is the default IP address in your management interface of Palo Alto, right? What is the default username and password? What are the default services which is allowed on this management interface of firewall, right? How we can do all these kind of things with the help of CLI. And once this will complete, I'll basically show you how we can do the configuration in your management interface with the help of CLI and GUI. Both things I will cover. And once this part complete, I will go through with the licensing. What type of license offered by the Palo Alto Firewall? What is threat prevention license? What is URL filtering license, right? What is DNS security license? What is global protect license? And I'm going to cover all type of license in your Palo Alto Firewall. Once this will complete, I will move towards the software updates. How we can basically do the PAN-OS upgrade from scratch. Let's suppose you want to upgrade your firewall. How you can do that? Let's suppose you want to download some dynamic updates for your app signatures, your threat signatures, your wildfire signatures, right? I'm going to cover all these things, how we can basically manage, how we can do the scheduling, how we can use the CLI to download these particular software updates or your dynamic updates, and how we can install them in the PAN-OS. In the same section, I will also go through with the support portal. What is the use of support portal? How we can register your Palo Alto Firewall into support portal, and how we can activate the license in your box into the support portal. Once this will complete, I'll move towards the account administration, where I will go through with that. Like, let's suppose you have a L1 engineers team, you have a L2 engineers team, you have a L3 engineers team, you have some developers, right? How you can create a appropriate account for all these particular peoples. So here we will see all these things in your account administration. Here I will also show you how we can do the Palo Alto 5 integration with the LDAP server, and how we can do the integration with the Radius server. Once this part will complete, I'll move towards the admin roles, where I will go through with the, like what type of admins, how we can provide a dedicated role to add to an admin, like how we can just allow the read-only access to your L1 engineers, or we just allow the basic access of your firewall, so they can only able to take the backup and they can only able to check the basic logs, right? So these things we can able to control by defining the admin rules. Once this part will complete, we will go through with the interface configuration, security zones. What is your layer 2 deployment? How we can do the layer 2 deployment of your Palo Alto Firewall? What is your layer 3 deployment? What is your virtual wire deployment? What is your tap mode deployment, right? How we can create your security zones? How we can do the configuration in your interface using CLI, GUI, both things, right? What is the concept of sub interfaces, like how we can use Palo Alto Firewall as a DSCP client, as a DSCP server, and as a DSCP relay agent? What is the concept of virtual routers in your Palo Alto firewall? If you have a multiple virtual routers, how we can allow the communication between both the virtual routers, right? If you want to enable any type of routing in your Palo Alto firewall, like you want to do the RIP protocol configuration, or you want to do the static routing, or you want to enable the ECMP, or you want to configure OSPF and BGP protocols, right? All these things comes under the virtual router, and we will see how we can basically do all these things in your Palo Alto firewall. Once this part will complete, I'll move towards the next topic, which is the most important topic of Palo Alto, your security policies and net policies. Here we will see how we can basically add the security policies, how we can basically create a address group, how we can create a address object, how we can create a service object, service group, right? And after that, how we can utilize them in your security policies and your net rules. I will go through what is the interzone default rule, what is the intrazone default rule, how we can enable the logging on your security policies, right? What is the concept of unused rules? All these things I'm going to cover. What are the different type of actions available in your security policies, like deny, drop, allow, reset client, reset server, reset both? All these particular things we will see with practicals, like how Palo Alto Firewall handle your UDP traffic, your TCP traffic, or your ICMP traffic with regards to each and every actions. We will see how we can do the policy administration, right? In your net, I will show you how we can do the configuration of your dynamic net, how we can do the configuration of your dynamic pet, which is your port address translation on your outside interface IP. And let's suppose if we have a couple of other public IPs, we can how we can use these particular IPs in your pet. So we will see all these things. I will also go through how we can able to configure the static net. What is the option we have with regards to bidirectional in your static net? Then we will see what is destination net. In destination net, I used to go through with the three type of use cases. Let's suppose we have a single public IP address and we want to host one of the server, like a single server. How we can do this one-to-one mapping in your destination net? Let's suppose we have a single public IP address, but we have a multiple servers, like 3 servers. Then how we can basically do the netting on this single public IP address for all these 3 servers? How we can do the port forwarding as well? Maybe this server is listening the request on port 80, but from outside, if somebody is sending the request on 8080, then how it can basically change your port, destination port, as well as your destination IP address, right? So these type of use case we will see. I will also cover here your Uternet. There is a concept of Uternet, how we can configure. So this thing also I will cover in your net session. Once this will complete, I'll move towards the most important topic of your Palo Alto Firewall, which is app ID, or application identification. In your app ID, I will go through with the app ID overview. What is application groups, application filters, right? In this app ID, we will also see what is application shift feature available, right? How Palo Alto Firewall do the app identification for TCP traffic, how Palo Alto Firewall going to do the app identification for UDP traffic, right? What is the application cache in your silo path of Palo Alto, right? All these things I am going to cover in your app ID. Here I will also go through with the app ID workflow, which basically engine inside your Palo Alto firewall response for doing the app ID related task. Like we have one of the chip called Jaguar chip, and which algorithm which is running inside your Jaguar chip. Jaguar chip is a hardware, right? On this hardware, there is a one algorithm which is running, who will respond for doing your app ID, right? So we will see all these things in detail. Okay, even though I will also cover like in case of TCP, like if we will go through with the TCP three-way handshake, right, then they will exchange some application data, right? Now, how your app ID engine process your HTTP traffic? How app ID engine going to do the processing for your HTTPS traffic? Because in HTTPS, first your TCP three-way handshake will complete, then your SSL handshake will complete, and after that only your actual application data will be there, right? I will also cover your content ID overview. In content ID, we will see how we can basically put the restrictions if somebody is trying to download the any type of malicious code or virus file, right? Or any file which contains some type of virus code, right? How we can block this traffic means how to configure antivirus protection with practical, how to basically do the protection from the spyware. So how we can able to configure the anti-spyware protection, how we can do the vulnerability protection, guys. And I'm going to launch all these type of attacks using my Kali Linux machine. From that machine, I will launch the brute force attack and some type of other attacks. And we will see how your vulnerability protection profile is protect us from these type of vulnerability exploitation attacks, basically. I will go through with the URL filtering. Basically, in URL filtering, we will see what's the concept of URL filtering, how Palo Alto 5 going to do the URL filtering for your URLs or for your URI, right? How we can create a custom URL filtering, how we can basically configure the extra dynamic list, right? What is URL PenDB URL filtering solution? What is your Bright Cloud URL filtering solution? What type of license we need? How Palo Alto 5 going to basically do the URL lookups into the PenDB cloud, how this cloud is hosted over the AWS environment, right? All these things I'm going to cover in details. Once this part complete, I'll move towards your file policies. Here we will see how we can able to basically allow or deny the uploading and downloading of different file types. Let's suppose you want to put the restrictions on downloading all the exe files or all the MSI file, right? How we can able to do that thing? How we can basically protect from if somebody trying to upload your office documents, like your Visio documents, like your Excel document, like your Word document or your PPT documents, right? How we can able to do these things. Then I will go through with the wildfire base. What is the wildfire solution of Palo Alto? What is the wildfire operation? Because in your interview, they will ask what is wildfire operation, right? So all these things I'm going to cover in detail. When this part will complete, then how I can combine all these particular security profiles in my security group, right? Now, once this particular thing will complete, I'll move towards the one more most important topic, which is your zone protection and your DOS protection. Means let's suppose how you will basically get the protection from the network attacks. Network attacks means if let's suppose somebody has launched the TCP flood attack, TCP SYN flood attack, or let's suppose somebody has launched the UDP flood attack, or somebody has launched the ICMP flood attack, or let's suppose somebody is doing the IP spoofing attack. How we can basically protect from all these type of attacks? Let's suppose somebody has modified some content inside your headers, like somebody has done some changes in your TCP header or in your UDP header or in your IP header, right? Maybe he has just added some extra payload into these headers, right? And your traffic having some headers errors, right? How basically all these things works, how we can do the protection, how we can get this protection with the help of zone protection and the DOS protection profile. So we will see all these things with the practical. And guys, all these type of attacks I will launch from my Kali Linux machine. So we will see, I will launch the live attacks and I will show you how your firewall, like your firewall CPU is going very high, how I am basically exhausting the session capacity of your Palo Alto firewall, right? All these things we will discuss here. When this part complete, I'll move towards the SSL decryption. In SSL decryption, we will go through with the, I will first cover the advanced overview of your SSL handshake. where we will go through with all the SSL handshake related packets, like what is client hello, what is server hello, right? What is server certificate chain, what is server hello done message, then what is client key exchange, what is server key, what is like change cipher respect from client and change cipher respect from server, right? We will go through with all these messages in detail. Once this part will complete, I will go through I will go through with the advanced overview or the advanced level implementation of outbound SSL decryption and inbound SSL decryption. How my Palo Alto Firewall perform the outbound SSL decryption, how it is basically sending all these packets to the SSL engine, right? Here we will discuss what is FPTCP segments, right? Forward proxy segments, how it will add the proxy flag in your packets, right? And I will also, to explain all these things, I will also explain you what is this certificate, what is root certificate, what is the certificate signing request, right? What is the identity certificate, what is your intermediate root certificate, all these details I am going to cover. And guys, nowadays in most of the organizations, people are launching the attacks by using the SSL tunnel. So how we can basically put the protection from these type of tunneling traffic, how we can do the SHS decryption in your Palo Alto Firewall. Once this part will complete, I'll move towards the user ID. Most important topic of your Palo Alto Firewall, user identification. In user ID, we will see how we can do the Active Directory integration, how we can achieve the users to IP mapping, what is the user ID agent. So here we will discuss what is the PAN-OS inbuilt user ID agent, or what is PAN-OS external user ID agent. In which scenarios we will use which ID agent, which user ID agent, I am going to cover in detail. Okay, once this part will complete, I'll move towards your, and guys, in your user ID I will again touch how we can basically, let's suppose for HR department, I will just allow the access of job posting sites. To my sales department, I will allow the access of some type of sales related websites. My finance people, I will allow the access of the finance related websites, right? For marketing team, I will allow the access of social networking website. But if somebody from HR department trying to open any type of social networking website, I will block the access. Or let's suppose somebody from the finance or marketing department is trying to access a job posting site, I will block the access, right? So all these things we are going to cover in your user ID class. Once these topic will complete, now I will move towards the most important topic, or the my best favorite topic, which is IPsec site-to-site VPN. In IPsec site-to-site VPN, we will go through with the phase 1 exchange and your phase 2 exchange process. I will give you the advanced level detail how your phase 1 exchange works with the help of main mode, how your phase 2 exchange happen with the help of quick mode. And guys, here I will also show you how we can able to decrypt your main mode related messages and your quick mode related messages. Even though I will also show you how we can able to decrypt the ESP messages. In the same class, I will also cover what's the concept of your Diffie-Hellman key. What's the concept of SKID D, SKID-A, and SKID-E, because these are the actual keys which are used by the PAN-OS or Palo Alto Firewall to basically decrypt or encrypt the VPN related traffic, and we are going to do all these things with the help of practicals. Once this part will complete, guys, I have written here I have written around 13 use cases of your IPsec site-to-site VPN, right? And what I will do, I will try to cover couple of them in your classes, and for the remaining use cases, I will share you the pre-recorded videos. So it will cover almost everything which you need to know with regards to the VPN. Here I will cover like hub and spoke type of VPN configuration using your OSP protocol or BGP protocol, right? How to configure the route based IPsec VPN using OSPF, right? What is dynamic IPsec site-to-site tunnel with Cisco ASA and Palo Alto Firewall? IPsec VPN tunnel with Palo Alto and Cisco ASA, right? Here when both devices have the static IP, here when one device have the static and one have the IP address from DSCP. We will see how we can able to configure dual IPsec tunnel with the help of tunnel monitoring with the help of static route path monitoring and with the help of virtual router and PVF, right? I will also show how we can able to configure the IPsec VPN when one device is behind the net gateway. How to configure IPsec site-to-site VPN using pre-shared key. How to configure IPsec site-to-site VPN using the certificate. How to configure IPsec site-to-site VPN between two devices when they have the overlapping subnets. This use case you will see a lot in the production environment, right? So all these particular use cases I'm going to cover. When this part will complete, I will move towards the next topic, which is global protect. In your global protect, I will go through with the global protect overview. I will go through with the global protect connection flow, and this connection flow is the most important topic, guys. Because if you know this particular connection flow, then only you can able to troubleshoot your global protect related issues. Otherwise, you will not able to do that. We will also discuss the global protect connection method, like what is user logon what is on demand, what is pre-logon, then on demand, what is pre-logon, then user logon, all these particular 4 methods of your global protect. I will also try to cover a couple of the miscellaneous topics, like how we can do the syslog integration, how we can able to configure enable the net flow in your interface, what is log types. I will go through with the dashboard, basic logging, reporting. Panorama I will not cover, guys, because for Panorama I used to have a dedicated classes or dedicated batch. And guys, once this part will complete, I'll go through with the high availability classes, where we will see active passive high availability, how we can able to configure active passive HA. And also, guys, in your active passive HA, I will go give you the advanced level implementation of HA, like how the HA agent communicates between both the firewalls, how the system daemon communicates between both the firewall, what is your HA1 interface, what is HA2 interface, right? What is HA3 interface in active HA? What are the information they will sync through HA1 interface? What information they sync with HA1 HA1 backup interface, right? All these things I'm going to discuss with advanced level labs. Basically, we will see active high availability configuration of active HA. Then here we will see 3 use cases: floating IP HA lab, rfloat HA lab, and mixed mode HA lab, guys. And I will also take one of the troubleshooting webinar, where we will see how we can able to do the packet based troubleshooting using the packet filter utility, using the packet capture utility, using the flow basic utility, and using the TCP dump. So all these 3 things also we will see in detail in your Palo Alto Firewall. So guys, this is the detailed course content which I am going to cover. Now, guys, let's just go through with the lab topology, like what type of lab topology I'm going to use. So, guys, in most of the time, I'm going to use EVNG for doing the labs. Okay. So the very first topology, this is my first topology which I generally use to basically show you the basic configuration in your Palo Alto Firewall, to show you the static routing in your Palo Alto Firewall, to show you the path monitoring, policy based forwarding, ECMP. If here we have a dual ISP connection, so how we can do the routing and other things, right? So this is the first type of lab which I'm going to use. Then I have a IPsec VPN related lab. So this particular lab topology for my IPsec VPN traffic, where you can see I have a 3 Palo Alto firewalls. One is at head office, and I have a 2 branch office 1 and branch office 2, right? I do have a 1 more Cisco SA firewall. So we will see all these particular VPN configuration. I have 1 more firewall here. So this firewall here we will try to complete your all the practical with regards to IPsec, which is required the host or peer behind the net gateway, right? So this particular topology I will use to demonstrate all your IPsec VPN related topics. Now for active high availability or active passive high availability, I'm going to use this particular lab topology. And guys, all these lab topology you will get. Okay, so you don't need to build them from scratch. Apart from that, like I do have a couple of other lab topologies, right? Like this one I will generally use to, previously I was using for redundancy related labs and all, right? Then we have a demo lab is as well. This is also one of the lab topology which I was using just for the demonstration purpose and all, right? Then I have created couple of labs nowadays for like BGP related, OSPF related labs or BGP related labs, right? So all these labs topology also you will get from our side, guys. Let me just go here. Even though guys, I will also use this tap mode deployment, virtual wire deployment, the dedicated labs for these particular practicals, right? And I am also building one of the master lab, and this particular lab we can use for doing all type of practicals, right? So this lab is under constructions and I can able to create them, right? And this is the Kali Linux machine which I will use for launching all these attacks. And just for the information, guys, I have all these particular things, like I have a licensed firewall on my lab, right? So we can able to practice all the practicals. Okay, I have the license firewall on my lab, so we can able to practice everything, all the features. Okay, now guys, let's try to go through with the one of the most important topic of Palo Alto, which is Palo Alto Firewall architecture. So guys, anyone have any prior idea on the architecture of Palo Alto? If anyone have any idea, you can just write on the chat, yes, no. One more time is confirm. I'm confirm, guys. I'm audible properly. My voice is coming properly. Any echo at my end? Things are good. Okay, my screen is visible to everyone properly. Cool. Now, guys, let's go through with the architecture of Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, so Palo Alto Firewall architecture is known as SP3 architecture. Architecture of Palo Alto Firewall is the SP3 architecture. SP3 stand for single pass software and parallel processing hardware. This is the full form of your SP3 architecture, single pass software and parallel processing hardware. Now let's try to first understand the parallel processing hardware. First, we will try to understand this particular part. And if you will able to understand this parallel processing part, you can easily able to understand the single pass software. So like SP3 is a combination of two things, single pass software and parallel processing hardware. So guys, in your Palo Alto firewall, what your Palo Alto firewall is has a two planes. Palo Alto firewall is divided into two planes. The very first plane is known as a control plane, or in simple word, the first plane is known as a management plane. And the second plane is known as the is your data plane. Means Palo Alto hardware is divided into two planes. We have a management plane and we have a data plane. Guys, your management plane is used for doing your management related activities like your configuration management, your log management, your reports management. Means let's say you want to generate the reports for all the threats which you have seen in last week, or maybe you have seen in last month, right? We will generate everything through the management plane. Apart from that, guys, apart from that, there are other activities or other responsibilities also there for management plane, because if you don't know, guys, I'm just touching this part. Palo Alto firewall operating system is known as a PAN-OS. Or let me just go in this way. So guys, Palo Alto firewall operating system is known as a PAN-OS. So this particular PanOS, how they have built this PanOS, guys, there was the one Linux flavor called BSD Linux. Palo Alto have taken this BSD Linux. They did some customization on this BSD Linux, and on top of this BSD Linux, they have added the Pan application. What they have added? The Pan application. And this particular entire thing is your Palo Alto operating system PanOS. So guys, if you know, guys who is aware about the Linux, in Linux, did you run this top command? Did you get a chance to run this top command? When you will run this top command, or let me just show you one more thing here, like in your Windows, right? If I'll go here into my task manager, into this particular in processes, in task, you can see there are the multiple processes are running for multiple things, right? In similar way, if you want to use your Linux, basically in Linux also we have a different type of processes. These processes called as the daemons. Like if you want to see, like whenever you will log in into your Linux machine, who will validate your username and password? So there is a one process called authd, authentication daemon. Let's suppose you have enabled the web services in your Linux machine. That time what? You will run this particular process called httpd. If you have configured the DNS, then that time you are running the domain name service on your Linux machine. If you have configured NTP server, that time you are running this NTP daemon. So guys, in similar fashion, because Palo Alto OS is also a combination of Linux and Pan application, right? So this Linux have some type of processes. Means it has some daemons. So guys, all your daemons is also available in the management plane only. Your master daemon, your system daemon, your HA agent daemon, your interface manager daemon. There is a route daemon, right? There are lots of daemons will be there, and I'm going to cover all of them in your sessions. Okay. So like this daemon management or the process management is also done by the management plane. So I hope you got the point here. Like your management plane is used for the process management, your configuration management, your reporting, and your logging. Okay. Now we have a data plane here. Now if you will see this particular data plane, Palo Alto data plane is divided into three another planes. We have a network processor, we have a security processor, and we have a signature match processor. These are the three processors we are having. Now guys, all these three processors, they have a dedicated task to do, or they have a dedicated jobs to do. And each and every processor, they have a dedicated resource. They have a dedicated CPU and they have a dedicated RAM. Means if your network processor is busy in processing some packets, that time it will not use any type of resources which is allocated for your security processor, because they have their dedicated resources. If you will see here guys, because the data plane of Palo Alto Firewall is further divided into three another planes, and all these planes, they have a dedicated resources. If they have a dedicated resources, which means they can able to work in parallel way, right? They can able to perform the task in parallel way. Maybe we have sent some of the packets. Let's suppose we have sent this packet number 1, packet number 2, and packet number 3. Maybe this WAN packet reached to your data plane. Maybe packet number 3 processing is going on this signature match processor. Maybe packet number 2 processing is going on at security processor, and your packet number 1 maybe processing is going on in your networking processor. That time you will see all these packets gets processed at the same time in parallel way. So guys, this is your parallel processing hardware. And now one more benefit you will get, because we have a dedicated management plane and we have a dedicated data plane. And guys, let's suppose if there are any of the errors in your processor, means your processor is having some type of hardware errors, or maybe some type of demons. There are a couple of demons which is also running in your management plane, in your data plane, like your pen task. When Palo Alto receives any process or any packet in your data plane, there is a daemon called pen task. This is the daemon who will basically take your particular packet and start doing the processing on it. Okay. So let's suppose your Pantas daemon is not working, or it has some type of problems, right? In that case, what you get a you will get a chance to just reload your data plane only. You don't need to reload the entire box. Let's suppose in your management plane there is a one process called IKE MGR. There is a one daemon called IKE Manager. This daemon is responsible for your IP segregated task. Or let's suppose there is a one daemon called REST MGR, REST Manager. This daemon is responsible for your global protected task. Let's suppose these processes are not working fine. They got some issues. In that case, what you can be able to restart these particular processes as well in your management plane. You don't need to reboot your entire box. So these type of benefit also you will get because of that type of parallel processing type of hardware. Another benefit you will get, because let's suppose somebody has launched any type of DDoS attack. Generally, your DOS attack, if somebody launch, they will launch the attack in your data plane. Right? Let's suppose your data plane is under the DDoS attack. Right? Means all the resources of your data plane is choked due to this DDoS attack. But still we have a management plane, because management plane also have a dedicated resource, dedicated hardware, and dedicated means dedicated CPU, dedicated memory, and dedicated RAM. So what we can do, we can log in into your management plane, and we can able to do the troubleshooting. So this type of benefit also you will get because of that type of hardware architecture. Now let me just show you in actual how this particular architecture looks like. I'll come on this diagram later. So guys, as I have mentioned, Palo Alto Firewall architecture is divided into two parts. The very first part is your management plane, which is this one. Your management plane is responsible for your config management, logging, reporting, and it will also handle all type of daemons. Most of the daemons are running in your management plane. Your management plane has a dedicated Intel CPU. It has a dedicated RAM, DDR4 RAM, and it has a dedicated SSD. And it this particular management plane have one more port called management port. So this management port has a direct connectivity with your management plane or control plane. And it also have a one HA1 port. HA1 interface, which is also part of management plane for doing your high availability related task. Like HA1 is responsible for your config management, your configuration synchronization, right? And your HA1 interface also used for exchanging the keep alive message or hello message, all these things. Okay. Now we have a data plane. Now this data plane is further divided into three planes. We have a network processor. Network processor is responsible for your flow control, your route lookup, ARP lookup, MAC lookup, quality of service, and net related tasks. We have a security processor. Security processor is responsible for your session setup, SSL, decryption, encryption, your IPsec related task, your decompression related task, and it has a dedicated CPU and it has a dedicated RAM. And guys, this security processor is also responsible for your security policy parsing, your net policy parsing. Your routing related task is also done by this security processor. Your DDoS policies, your zone protection is also part of security processor. Because this network processor you will not see in all the hardware models of your Palo Alto Firewall. This particular processor is available into some of the hardware models also, like on in your 3200 series you will be able to see this network processor. In your 5200 series, in your 54 100 series or 3400 series or 7000 series, right? In the high end boxes, you will see this particular network processor. This network processor is also known as a session offloader. And session offloader means this network processor is only do process the packet which is offloaded by your security processor. Otherwise, all your packet processing is done by the security processor. Means all your layer 3 tasks, sorry, all your layer 2 tasks, layer 3 tasks, and your layer 4 tasks. Okay, done by the security processor. And if security processor to offload the load from the security processor, we will basically send that session details to the network processor, and now network processor responds for doing your L2 task, L3 task, and your L4 task. L2 task means your MAC lookup and your R table lookup and creation of your frame. L3 task will include your packet encapsulation, your routing, your security policies, your net policies, your net translation. All these tasks is done by the network processor. And also your L4 task means all the tasks like creation of your segments in case of TCP, creation of your UDP segments, and all these things. Okay, performed by this network processor. But this processor is a session offloader, and I will discuss regarding the session offloader how the things work, because there are so many things to discuss. And after that, we have a signature match processor or your pattern match processor. This processor have a RAM and it has a dedicated CPU. And guys, this signature match processor is responsible for your all your layer 7 tasks, which includes your app ID, application identification, and your content ID. Now, your content ID includes your antivirus protection, anti-spyware protection, your URL filtering, your file protection, your wildfire protection, your data protection, your vulnerability protection. All these tasks done by the signature match processor. Means all your exploit, viruses, spyware, command and control, all these type of things is done by the signature match processor or your security processor. Okay, now guys, one more thing. This particular security processor, it also have a dedicated SSL chip to perform your SSL related task. It has a dedicated chip for doing the some complex tasks like decompression and all. It has a dedicated hardware chip to basically do all these particular tasks. Just remember. Okay. And guys, all these processors, they will basically work independently. They don't have any type of dependency on each other. Now, let me also tell you one more thing here, guys. This particular processor has a one of the chip called as a Liger. In low end boxes, in high end boxes, we have a Tiger. This particular security processor has a chip called Octeon chip. This particular processor is also known as your data plane CPU, DP-CPU. And this signature match processor have a one of the chip called Jaguar chip. In this Jaguar chip, there is a one algorithm called DFA and AHO. These are the two algorithms which is running in your Jaguar chip to basically do your app ID and your content ID related tasks. Just remember. Okay. And guys, because see these are the dedicated hardware chips which is created by the Intel for your Palo Alto devices. These are the dedicated chip which is created by the Intel for your Palo Alto devices. And here in your management plane, you just have a normal Intel chip or Intel CPU. Okay, these are not the dedicated CPUs in your management plane. So that's all about your management plane and your data plane. Now let me just give you some advanced level overview also guys with regards to your planes. So what used to happen in your Palo Alto firewall, all your interfaces, or let me just draw a new diagram guys so you will get some more idea on it. Let me just draw one new diagram here. So what used to happen, guys, in Palo Alto 5, generally we have a two type of interfaces. So let's suppose we have a two types of interfaces here. Generally, guys, what are the types of interfaces you will see in the production environment? Anyone have any idea? We have a copper ports, normal copper ports, and we have a fiber ports, like your SFP plus ports, like, or I can write here fiber ports, like we have a single mode and multi-mode fibers. Now, these particular ports basically, let's suppose we have a port number starting from Ethernet 1 by 1, Ethernet 1 by 2, Ethernet 1 by 3, Ethernet 1 by 4, Ethernet 1 by 5, Ethernet 1 by 6, and Ethernet 1 by 7, let's suppose. Then I have a one more like Ethernet 1 by 8. Let's say we have a four ports here. These are the four fiber ports. Ethernet 1 by 9, Ethernet 1 by 10, Ethernet 1 by 11, and Ethernet 1 by 12. So what used to happen, guys, these particular interface stack or this particular interface panel, okay, or your network module, because all these particular things comes connected with the network modules. All your ports will have a connectivity with the network module. I'm not sure you have the knowledge of some hardwares. So what your copper ports generally have a direct connectivity with one of the chip called Marvel chip. Okay. And this SFP plus port have a direct connectivity with one of the chip called Petra chip. All these particulars, they have a connectivity like this. Means your interface board has a direct connectivity with this particular Marvel chip or your Petra chip. Your SFP plus port, they have a connectivity with the Petra chip. If you don't have a SFP ports, in that case, you don't have a Petra chip. Okay. Now, this Marvel and Petra chip, it has a direct connectivity with one of the chip called network processor. So I can just mention the name here. In low end boxes, you have a Liger chip. In high end boxes, we have a chip which is named as Tiger. And it has a direct connectivity. This Marvel chip has a directly connectivity with this Liger and Tiger chip. With these particular links, guys, these links is known as a joy links. These are the high bandwidth or high speed fiber links, which connects your one chip with the another chip. Okay. And this particular chip is also known as your network processor, NP. This particular processor is a FPGA, Field Programmable Gateway Array. And after that, this particular processor has a direct connectivity with one more processor called, or it has a direct connectivity with the Octeon chip. And guys, let me just draw, let me go a little bit deeper. So in high-end boxes like your 50 to 100 series box, you have a 3 Octeon chip. We have an Octeon chip here, Octeon chip here, and your Octeon chip here. This Octeon chip is known as DP0, data plane CPU 0, DP0, DP1 CPU, and data plane 2 CPU. And this Liger and Tiger chip has a connectivity with this particular CPUs like this. Okay, these are also the joy links, guys. And after that, this particular data plane CPU has a connectivity with one more chip called Jaguar chip. And guys, in high-end boxes, you will have here two Jaguar chip. Jaguar chip 01 and Jaguar chip 02. And you have a connectivity like this. You have a connectivity like this with the Jaguar chip. Guys, this Jaguar chip is also a FPGA field programmable gateway array. And this particular chip is responsible, as I have mentioned, for app ID and for your content ID. Now, so this type of basically setup generally you will be having inside your Palo Alto Firewall. These are the hardware component available in your Palo Alto Firewall. And here guys, in these components, why I have mentioned here 3 data plane CPU, because in high-end series of Palo Alto, we have a 3 data plane CPU. And guys, your actual single pass hardware architecture, actually your SP3 architecture is applied on this particular type of environment only. When you have a like high-end boxes like your 5200 series box or 5400 series box. Okay, because maybe if we have received a packet, let's say we have a PC here. This PC has initiated some of the traffic. So this traffic come to interface 1, then it will pass to Marvel chip, Marvel will pass to Liger chip, and it will pass to Octeon chip. Maybe what time, let's say it has sent 3 packets. Maybe one packet is processed by this engine, another by this engine, another by this engine. Means all these 3 packets getting processed at the same time. This is your parallel processing hardware. I hope guys you understood the hardware architecture of Palo Alto Firewall, or the actual data plane architecture of your Palo Alto Firewall. How it basically in actual looks like. And if you want to see the same thing in detail, let me just open the Palo Alto diagram for 5000 series box, and you can able to get the details here. So if you will see this particular diagram, I hope everyone able to see this diagram. This is the hardware architecture of Palo Alto 5000 series. Now in this particular series box, if you will see, we have a management plane. It has a dedicated 4 core of CPUs, right? Quad core management plane, high speed logging and routing update, dual SSD drives, right? And it has a dual memory and dual RAM as well. These are the normal Intel CPU. And after that, we have this is your switch fabric, where we have a Marvel and Petra chip. Okay, where we have a Marvel and Petra chip. And after that, we have a network processor. And network processor, what type of chip it is having? It is having the Tiger chip. Responsible for your net, route, ARP, MAC lookup, and flow control. And after that, we have a Octeon chip. These are the 3 data plane CPU we are having. DP0, DP1, and DP2. Your security processor, right? And we have a 2 Jaguar chip here. Signature match processor. One Jaguar chip and another Jaguar chip. So guys, if you have heard the name like Palo Alto 5000 series, or your 5200 series, or your 5400 series, or your 7000 series, people used to say these are the data center level devices, right? Generally you have in your DCs. Why they have these 3 data plane CP and all? Because these are the data center level devices. They have a very high throughput. Okay. And guys, if you will see here, these in 5000 series box, they just have a here 12 core of CPU, but in 5200 series box, generally you have here 48 core of CPUs. 48 core means this CPU can able to do the 48 tasks in one go. This CPU can able to perform 48 tasks at the same time, and this can also able to do the 48 tasks at the same time. So that's the capacity of this particular box, and that's the parallel processing hardware architecture of your Palo Alto device. Now guys, before going into the single pass software architecture, let me just go here. Before going into this single pass software architecture or single pass software, Let me explain you something. Your single pass software is applied in your content engine, just remember. And guys, what are the tasks which is performed by the content engine or performed by your Jaguar chip? Content ID is responsible for your antivirus protection, anti-spyware protection, vulnerability protection, file protection, right? Your wildfire protection. Wildfire we will use, it will provide the protection from unknown malwares and all, right? We have a wildfire protection, then we have a data protection. Your URL filtering task is also part of content IZ, right? All these tasks done by this particular content engine. Now guys, did you have observed like how it used to detect this traffic has some type of virus, or it has some type of spyware, or it has some type of vulnerability, right? How it used to detect? Because it has a database. It has a signature database. This signature database is also known as a dynamic updates. In dynamic updates, you are going to download that particular signature database. Means this database contains some type of predefined patterns of different type of attacks, different type of viruses, different type of spywares. And what it will do by checking against all these particular databases, it basically used to get this content has a virus, or this content has the spyware, or this content has had the some type of vulnerability, or this is the file type, or this is the data, or this is the wildfire, or that it has some type of malware or Trojan horse or ransomware, right? It used to detect by checking all these things against that particular database. Okay. Now guys, how it used to do that thing? So what used to happen? Let's suppose I have here my Palo Alto Firewall. I'll use red color generally. So let's suppose I have one PC here. I have my Palo Alto Firewall here. And this Palo Alto Firewall, let's say, has a connectivity with the internet service provider, ISP. Let's say we have one of the server here. Okay. Now this PC, let's suppose trying to download some of the file from that server, and that file have some type of virus, some type malicious code. This interface like Ethernet 1 by 1, this is Ethernet 1 by 2. This is outside, and let's suppose this is inside. Okay. Now guys, when this PC, let's suppose this server is running on TCP 443. It is offering some type of web services. So guys, tell me one thing, what is the packet flow in that case? Anyone have any idea about it? When this PC initiate a traffic, the very first packet, what is the name of very first packet from this particular PC? After getting the IP address of this server, the very first packet is always your TCP SYN. Your TCP SYN received by the firewall. Now when your firewall receive this TCP SYN, what it will do? It will do the packet processing. What it will basically process this TCP SYN packet against the ingress stage. These are the packet processing stage, guys. I'll cover in detail in your packet flow class. Okay. It will process this packet against your ingress stage. Then your flow lookup. Flow lookup is also known as your session table lookup. Then your slow path. Slow path is also known as your session setup state. Then it will basically go into the fast path. Then app ID. Then your content ID. And after that, we have a forwarding stage. Okay, these are the 7 packet processing stage. And always remember one thing. This is just to remember. You need to remember it. Like your TCP SYN, TCP SYN plus ACK and ACK. These 3 packets will not go through with the app ID and content ID. Why they will not go through with that process? Because in TCP sin plus egg and egg, we don't have any type of application data, just remember. Okay. So what happened basically, now this packet go here, after processing, we will get the reply from this device, reply is TCP sin plus egg, and after that he will reply with the acknowledgement packet. This is the third packet, the TCP egg, right? Once TCP egg will complete, what they will do now, they will maybe exchange the very first packet, which is client hello, because it is, this server is hosted on SSL, right? So till here he has completed the TCP three-way handshake. Now he will start SSL handshake. Let's suppose SSL handshake is also completed. Now what they, now he will exchange some type of data, some type of data. Here I can just mention some type of application data, apps data, and that data he will encapsulate over the TLS layer, transport layer security, right? Now when this particular data is received by the firewall, so what happens, and let's suppose this data reach to the content engine, right? Now your content engine will start doing the processing, and how it will do the processing, let's try to understand. So let's suppose we have content engine here, and guys, in your Jaguar chip, if you have observed, we have a RAM, right? We have a couple of RAM. So let's say this is your content engine, and this Jaguar chip has this particular memory. Now guys, because as I have mentioned, generally what used to happen, your Palo Alto Firewall will only send the layer 7 information from the packet to your content engine. And let's suppose this information is stored in your content into these particular memory locations, 000, 001, 002, and 003. Let's say these are the memory locations where your packet is stored. And guys, now as I have mentioned, in your content ID, it has a signature database, right? It has a signature database for your antivirus. It has a signature database for anti-spywares. It has a signature database for your vulnerabilities. It has a signature database for URLs. It has a signature database for data filtering, your wildfire, your file policies, your malwares, all these type of database it is having, right? So what it used to do, when this packet reached here, what will happen basically? My Palo Alto Fire basically load this particular packet, or it will basically match all these particular signature database is match against this particular database just in one go. Means he has stored the database here, and now all these particular small databases which are running here, now this packet is gets checked against all the database at the same time. This is your single pass architecture. Means this is just getting checked against all the database just in one go. Just in one go, all the database has been checked. Means it do the streamline processing of your layer 7 contents against your antivirus, anti-spyware, vulnerability, URL, wildfire, all these type of databases. And it will give you the results. If there is any malicious content, it will send back that results. This is your single pass architecture, means all these particular tasks it is just doing just in one go. So that is the single pass architecture of your Palo Alto Firewall, guys. Let me just show you like one of the image I'm not able to open today regarding this, because here they have mentioned the multi-pass architecture. Let's see. In multi-pass architecture, I will show you how things are happens. Guys, anyone have any idea about the Cisco ASA? In Cisco ASA, they have a Lina engine, right? This is your Cisco ASA. On top of this Lena engine, they have basically added the Snort engine. And this device is nowadays known as FTD. What used to happen? Your packet is processed by the Lena engine, and for IPS related tasks, it will go into the Snort engine. Here they have added the WSA engine. So for URL filtering, this data came back to Lena and again go to your URL filtering database. So here you can see packet is moving from one engine to another engine, right? But in Palo Alto Firewall, all these tasks is done by the single chip just in one go, because it will store the packet into the memory location of Jaguar chip and it will do the processing. Because this diagram, this I cannot able to open this image. Let me just check here. Multipass architecture. I don't, yeah, this is the one. This is also the nice one diagram here. Let me just open this one as well. So this is the multipass architecture. What happening here, guys, if you will see, your packet is checked against your firewall security policies, like against your access control list. Then for URL filtering, your packet is coming back and it is going again for the URL filtering, then coming back, then it is going for the IPS policies, then coming back, and again it is going for the antivirus profile, antivirus policies, right? So you can see these are the couple of engines which is repeating every time. So here it is doing some repeated work, because this thing you can consider as a lean engine and this you can consider as a next gen engine like it's not in others. So that is your multi-pass architecture. Okay. So that's the difference between your single pass architecture and your multi-pass architecture, guys. So that's it, guys, with regards to this particular demo. Okay. Now, before going into other detail, let me just show you this particular batch. I'm starting from 23rd of September. And guys, it's a weekends batch. So your classes will happen on Saturday, Sunday, starting from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. IST. And guys, this particular training I will do in the PanOS 11. So I will not use the like a lower version. I will I will use the latest version of Palo Alto, which is PanOS 11. Okay. And if you guys are interested, these are the contact details. Okay. So this particular, the very first number, this number belongs to me. So in case of any doubts with regards to Palo Alto, you can contact me. The second number belongs to Bidit sir. So if you have any doubts on F5 related things, you can able to reach out to on this particular number. So that's it, guys, with regards to this demo.